If you're a leader and you feel like you've got imposter syndrome, you're not alone. Over 70% of leaders report imposter syndrome, both all the time or quite regularly in their careers. So let's look at exactly what imposter syndrome is and, most importantly, what you can do about it. So if you do have imposter syndrome, like I said, you're not alone, just not alone in this corporate world. And the number one imposter, self-confessed imposter in the corporate world is CEO of Atlassian, Mike Cannon-Brookes. I encourage you just to type that name into YouTube and check out some great speeches he's made on his own imposter syndrome. That's a very famous corporate imposter or person suffering from imposter syndrome. In politics, you've got Michelle Obama openly has talked about imposter syndrome. In acting, you've got Tom Hanks, again, openly talking about imposter syndrome. And in science, incredibly, I found this, Albert Einstein suffered from imposter syndrome. He thought that his particular mathematics, his way of looking at the world in his science, he tricked people into believing what it was. So there's some famous imposters. So if you are feeling imposter syndrome, you're not alone. So what is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is the constant belief that one day you'll be found out because you're not as good as other people believe you to be in the role that you're in. Hence, you're an imposter and it creates a lot of stress. And the interesting thing about imposter syndrome is that real imposters, real swindlers, know they're imposters and they are imposters, whereas people with imposter syndrome aren't imposters and they think they're imposters. With the clients I coach and the study I've done, this imposter syndrome often turns up in a three-way conversation, if you like. There's three conversations going on in your head. There's a conversation from you, the underlying real you that has the skill, has the talent, has the experience. Number two is the person giving the presentation, making the point, applying for the role, the person in action, as we say in the coaching language. The third person is this inner critic that's constantly commenting very negatively on how you're performing. And that voice is telling you you're going to get found out because you're not as good as you think you are. And you've been faking it until you make it until now, but you're going to get found out any moment. And of course, having that constant belief is very debilitating and creates pessimism and often depression as well. So we really need to understand this and really need to do something about it. How does it turn up with the sort of clients I've been coaching over the years? It turns up like, I won't speak up in meetings because they might realize I don't really understand what I'm doing. I'm not going to make that major presentation or attend that major conference because the group will realize I don't deserve this role. I won't put myself forward for a new role because I'm an imposter in the role that I'm in already. And also, it often comes into perfectionism or over preparing for something because you don't think you're good enough, smart enough, bright enough to be in the role that you're in right now. That's just some of the ways that it turns up. That gap between what your real ability is and what you believe your ability is. That's how it turns up. So the major question is, so what do I do with this? If you think you've got imposter syndrome, and if you're listening to this so far, you probably have got imposter syndrome, which is okay. There's three things you can do, and I'll give you the most powerful one last because it's a little bit more complicated. The first one, the first thing to do is to separate your feelings from facts. Now, if you're in a senior leadership role, it's likely you're under a lot of stress. And that stress automatically creates pessimism. And that pessimism is very likely to create an imposter syndrome or a feeling in you that you don't belong where you are, because that's how pessimism turns up. It turns up looking at all the potentially negative outcomes or results of what it is that you're doing. So separate the facts, and the facts would be like your career, your track record, your potential academic record, other companies that you've worked for, feedback you've got from colleagues and from senior folks in the organization. They're the facts. How you feel, they may be very, very important, but they're not facts. And if you're in a stressful role, like many of you are, you'll be thinking and feeling negatively. So understand that stress creates these automatic negative thoughts, these negative feelings, and understand them and separate them from the facts. The facts are you are an awesome leader, and so many people around you can give evidence of that. When people in the coaching chair with me, I ask them about other sponsors they've got in the organization, other feedback that they've had, the feedback they get from senior people in the organization. They say, yeah, I've had some great feedback, but I still don't believe it. I think, well, okay, why are you going to believe? So that's step number one in terms of recovering from imposter syndrome. Separate the feelings from the facts. The second way to deal with this is called catch up. Now, what catch up means is that if you're a senior leader that's been promoted relatively quickly, we've had a very strong leadership career so far, maybe moved around different organizations and taken on some large roles. If that's you, it's likely your opinion or your view of your ability lags behind where your ability is right now. You hear this a lot of times with sports people where they get selected for a big team, they get to play in a big event like a big Wimbledon event, or they get to play in a PGA golfing event. They think, "Oh, I'm not sure I belong here," because what's happening is that your personality, if you like, your traits are more suited to where you were, and they take a little while to catch up, to get reinforced and reaffirmed to where you are now. So it's important there to play catch up, and also importantly, keep thinking about those people around you. Build a guiding coalition of people around you that support you in these new endeavors and these new roles that you're working in right now. The third way to deal with this is the first plank of my coaching practice. And that first plank is about helping you understand that you are enough. You're smart enough, you're bright enough, you're old enough, you're young enough, you're male enough, you're female enough, whatever enough is required. You don't need to be more than enough. You're just going to be enough to meet the role, to the role. If you're running in a race, it's going to be enough to get to come first in that race. That's enough. You haven't got to win by a minute or 10 minutes or a couple of laps. Enough is winning. So you are enough. So how does this turn up now? What often turns up, particularly with many leaders I work with who are a little more introverted, a bit more analytical in what they're doing, they tend to self-criticize a lot. And if they get a new role, they'll say things like, "Yeah, I was lucky to get that," or "Gee, it was Margaret wasn't available, so they chose me." Or you'll play it down to other people. You won't say, "Yeah, this is really great. I'm looking forward to getting this role. I'm really getting my teeth into it." And the reason you're doing that is you think you're being a nice guy or a lovely woman to sort of play it down. But if you hear that enough, your subconscious is hearing that message too. The message is you're not enough. You put that together with the stress and the pessimism we talked about earlier, and this will be a constant cycle. You'll wake up worried every morning and go to bed worried every night because you don't understand that you're enough, but you are enough. And that's step number one in really fully embracing and unleashing all of your leadership powers. Constantly say to yourself, you are enough. And I can give you exercises and activities to help you do this, or to remember that you're enough, whatever enough might mean in your particular environment. So that's step number three, or cure number three. You can use all three of these cures, or you can just use the one that seems to resonate the best with you. What I'd suggest you do is pick one that resonates and give it a try and see how that works. And then you can try another as well. The more the merrier as far as imposter syndrome is concerned. So that's imposter syndrome, folks. That's what it is. It's a feeling as if you don't belong in the role that you're in right now. It could be a junior role or it could be a senior role. You just don't belong and you're basically faking it till you make it and you get found out pretty soon. It's a very stressful way to be thinking. We've looked at three different ways to address it or to manage it or self-coach your way out of imposter syndrome. If you'd like to find out more, obviously I coach in this. Just reach out to me. Happy to talk to you more or send you some resources on how this would work better for you or start a coaching relationship, folks. Bye for now.